bloom in spring. Tell me who gives the air that you breathe. Ooh. Everything that you need he will provide, so you may as well come on and give him a try. 'Cause he's awesome. Ooh, he's awesome. He's awesome. What would I do without him? Couldn't make a move without him. I don't wanna be without him. He's awesome.
What's up, ladies? Welcome to ZMR Ministries. I'm Pastor Z. It's Friday, so you know it's time for another episode of Girls Talk. Now tonight's topic is Go Best Friend. That's my best friend. That's my best friend. And we're going to be talking about why it's important to empower, uplift, and unite as women. Let me turn this way. I'm already turning. So y'all know how we do on Fridays. We just dive in. I got my girls with me. I got Marilyn, Simone, and Bridget, the Bridget sisters, and then y'all got me. So y'all know we just dive in, right? When you think about the term "go best friend," why do y'all think that we as women need to empower each other and uplift each other? Why is it important that we do that?
I think a lot of times you already feel like you have the odds against you. And then too, especially if you're going over into something that you've never been into before, you're already doubting yourself. And sometimes you're unsure. So sometimes you need that one friend to just say, go, you got this, and kind of encourage you and to build up your confidence.
Yeah.
Because you may not have confidence in that area. And it's just someone when you want to quit that can continue to push you and encourage you and keep you going, because sometimes you just need that encouragement.
Yeah. What do you think, Marilyn?
Well, being from the older generation, you know, we were actually groomed to do that kind of stuff. But as time passed by, you know, it's especially in our black culture,
right?
We've changed that. We've changed the thought of I am my sister's keeper and I got you.
Yeah.
No matter what it is, I got you.
Yeah.
And so I think we need to go back to that. Because we have so many women scuffling. We ourselves have so many testimonies, so many things that we've overcome that we can tell somebody else, hey, I got you. Let me show you how to make it through this.
Right.
Let me show you how to make it through that. And I think the only thing that stops us is that sometimes envy and jealousy comes in.
Yeah.
And that's that little monster that you have to recognize in yourself first and in others. And then you gotta learn how to deal with it.
Yeah, Simone?
I think agree with both of these guys here. But you know, also we as women, we all experience some of the same things as women. Right. So it is nice to be able to talk with somebody or have somebody to walk with you on that journey when y'all are going through it together and uplift each other, because you may know how that we can connect with how stuff feels and you know what we're going. It may be totally different than what a man. You can go through the same situation as a man go through as a woman, but you may have different outcomes, different feelings and things like that about it. So it's nice to have another woman there to go on that mission.
And you know what? I think it's about defeating the narrative that as women we have to be in competition, that we have to be catty. You know, that it's like we're constantly disrespecting each other, that if you uplift another woman, is, you know, you have to downplay yourself, or, you know, it's dimming your light, and it's really not. You know, when I said go best friend, it's like push her, encourage her, uplift her. We already go through our own personal battles. Our bouts with self-esteem, our bouts with confidence, you know, our bouts with doubting ourselves. You know, we're already been hurt. You know, what's the saying? The black woman is the most disrespected person on the planet. And we are. And so it's like we already have odds against us. Why be at odds with each other? You know, why do you think that it's a narrative that's out there? And I say a narrative because we have the power to change that. Why do you think that it's automatically in place that we have to be competing with one another, and we don't see that if we unite, we all win?
I think it's a community thing, and I think it goes back to racism. Because
talk about it.
when, you know, slavery time, it was the dark skin was inside, like the light skin was inside. They were treated better.
Right.
Even with how society presents things, if you look at it, if you're lighter, you're cute, you can be in the videos and stuff like that. The basketball player that was talking bad about the little Wakanda girl, you know, talk so bad about it because her skin was dark. It's like society, things that we have gone through throughout generation, the way we have been trained. It's a generational thing. This happened from, you know, it's a generational curse. It's been brought down from generations to generations to generations.
Right.
This set of women look better than this set of women. These set of women is not as pretty as these set of women. So it's a competition that's been embedded in us that, you know, Stockholm syndrome, you don't know that you have it, you don't know, you literally don't know that you're doing it, right? Or why you're doing it. It's just, you think it's okay.
And you know what? It's constantly pressed into us through, you know, like Simone said, the media, through entertainment, through TV, through movies. I remember one time we were all watching TV. We were watching Martin. Y'all remember that? And they brought something to my attention that I had never noticed. And I think Gina had just got a promotion, and you know, Pam was always, you know, the step behind her, you know, and they were like, you know, it's a trip how they always pushing the light-skinned girl, you know, the dark-skinned girl, you know, is not on her level. Gina's educated, she's always getting her little scraps that's left over, and I was like, dang, I never saw that. And it was like, you know, they look, I'm trying to turn on my own, but that right there, when I started paying attention, and I was like, man, you know, it was like I went back and watched some Martin episodes just to see it there, and it was like, that is so true. You know, when it came to Pam, she was always getting scolded on, ranked on. You know, it was like, you know, she couldn't be happy. Exactly. It was like it was a constantly fighting for her esteem. You get what I'm saying? And I was
their ghetto,
right, loud, want to fight, and hood rats and things of that nature. And I was just like, you know, it's like we do it to ourselves.
We do.
We do it to
There's
ourselves.
another perspective out there too. A lot of times people they talk about the lighter skin and the darker skin and how the lighter skinned people are, you know, they have these better opportunities than the darker skin. But in my time, it was the opposite. You're not really black if you're light skinned. So you can't be over here with us.
Right.
You're not really a Negro, or you're not really a black girl. So even in the country, when we went down to my grandmother's house, we would sit on the porch. It was like, no, don't you come out here because y'all light skinned. Y'all look like little rats. I mean, we were talked about so bad till when I began to wear makeup, I wore darker makeup.
Right.
Darker foundation to make my skin darker because we had been talked about so bad. Like, who do you think you are, light skin? You're not really black, so you can't be in that community. So some kids wouldn't even play with us because we were lighter skin. So I think it's both, and we need to just dispel that it has nothing to do with your skin color,
right?
Whether you're light or dark, because both sides have had some obstacles. Both sides have went through the exact same thing, and so I think it's just time to say my black is beautiful for real.
Yeah.
Whether you light skin, dark skin, whether you mix, my black is beautiful.
And I totally agree. I think it's a cultural thing. You know, it was that was embedded in us, like Simone said, in the slavery days. So you automatically, you know, assume, okay, lighter is better. Because they get to stay in the house. And, you know, but we're not taking into account, they're in the house, so they being raped.
Right.
You know, it ain't just because they in the house don't mean they getting treated fairly.
Exactly.
You know, it's still degradation there and disrespect. And so it's like, you know, but to us, the perception that they wanted us to believe is, you're better. You a field nigga, in other words. You a house nigga. You get what I'm saying? And so we still nigga, like Jay-Z. Right. And so it's like, now that time has passed, and you know, here we are out of slavery, you know, only about 50 years out of segregation, and we're still doing the same thing.
We are
the same
physically out of slavery, but we are mentally.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
It's still, I think, like you say, it goes back to the communities. Our communities are not strong in regards to rebuilding the things that have been broken down. And that goes all the way back down to your body has been broken down, because it's a lot of things that we're made to feel ashamed of that you naturally have. You know, not wearing your natural hair because it wasn't seen as professional.
Right.
You know, you need to make sure your lips are smaller. You know, smaller hips, things of those matter and such that we naturally have. And then we've taken it and turned it against each other and our own selves, because we've been made to hate ourselves and not be proud of things in the way that we were naturally made, and not realizing that people are paying for what we already have. So then it turns back into an internal competition between each other, because we've been told or been made to believe that there's only so many spots at the top. So if you already got one that's in the house that's at the top, or at the top of the CEO or somewhere, there's no room for others, which gives that crab mentality. So I gotta get there before you get there, because if you get there, then there's no room for me to be here.
Right.
And that's something that has been given to us and portrayed to us, and then that's all you see.
What else we're bad at is once we get to the top, we don't go back and pull each other up.
Exactly.
We don't go back. We will actually go in and do the things to sabotage each other.
Right.
We'll go do their job, what they're already trying to do to us as a community. We'll go do it for them, because, like she said, I don't want you taking my spot,
Right.
so I'm gonna keep you down.
And you know, it's so disheartening because we all have something to bring to the table. And if we really came together, like Simone said, we have more things in common than not.
Right.
And the common ground is, you know, none of us are put on the pedestal where we should be. And not pedestal as far as, you know, ego and pride and things of that nature, but it's like we should be uplifted as queens. You know, we should see each other that way, where even if we see a sister who is down, you know, or, you know, don't have what we have, it's not like we're downing them. You know, even if it's somebody where we look at it and they're seen as beneath you. You know, it's like, okay, let me help you up. Let me seek to understand you. And it's like, we don't have that. And so many women are fighting private battles and are losing. You know, suicide in the Black community is huge. And mental illness in the Black community is huge. And it's like, it's because we don't have the resources, we don't have the help, we don't extend a hand, and it's because we are so taught to just deal with things on our own. And I think because just as a population of the Black population, we had to be strong. And so it's like when it's broken down from the Black, you know, community or whatnot, and then broken down into our individual homes, you know, where it's like we gotta sweep things under the rug. You put on the face. You know, first of all, you gotta show strength to the white man. And then you get home and you gotta show strength to your community. And it's like you're constantly forced to be strong, and we're not dealing with things. And so it's like the reason why I feel there's so much competition is because we're not seeing the realness. And so we're seeing a facade or a picture or an image of what we think they are, of what we think our sisters are. And it's like behind that is hurt, it's pain, it's loneliness, it's private battles, it's all of these things, and we don't see it because we're taught that we have to keep putting on. Why do you think that's necessary, or we feel that that's necessary in order to be relevant?
To
put on.
Again, I think it goes back to just how you were taught before. You watch mama put on, you watch, you know, grandma put on. You know, it's a strength in we've spoken before about being bred. You were subliminally bred these things. Some things you were intentionally bred. And I mean, you know, speaking for myself, it was a reality. You know, we were taught you got to be 3 times better than somebody else, because you are 10 times better than, because you already got 3 stripes. You came out, you Black, you a woman, and you educated, so you already 3 down in the hole. So, you know, it's like one of those things where you go in saying, I'm about to fight. And you know, you're thinking in your mind, everything I'm about to go to, I have to fight for it. And it's I'm having to fight the system, I'm having to fight this, I'm having to fight that. The moment I drop my guard, I'm done. And that's just how you feel, because you feel like that because it is a reality for you as well.
So, you know what, I want to ask you, Marilyn, because you brought up, you know, how it's changed generationally and how, you know, we're no longer our sister's keeper. You know, when do you think that changed? where it stopped being a sisterhood to, you know, it's a mehood, and I don't want you in my spotlight. Don't steal my shine.
Honestly, I believe it ended in my generation. When I was growing up as a little girl, you know, you had to be, if one fought, all of y'all gonna fight.
Right.
You know, if one get hurt, you better make sure the other person's hurt, especially if they was Caucasian. But I think it ended in my generation because we started being against each other. It was a whole nother mindset of just what Bridget was talking about and Simone was talking about. You get to the top. When you get to the top, you stay at the top. And no matter, especially your black brothers and sisters, because they're just as strong as you are. So you can't let them get up to the top because they'll take it from you. And so I think that started the whole destruction or the whole fall of being my sister's keeper. Because at one point in time, we were.
Do you think, though, I'm just thinking about, you know, during the time of segregation, and then when that was banned, I mean, that was during the time you were growing up. And so, you know, during that time, y'all had to fight for each other because y'all were all y'all had. You know, because it was like, it's us against the world. And then when that ended, it was like, okay, we see they're going to be empowered because, you know, that's when Black Power came in. So now we have to sow seeds of discord so they can be at odds with each other. And so do you think that's what it was, that we didn't have that fight in us because it was no longer us against, you know, the white man's world? It was more so like, okay, we're segregated now. We don't know anything about that age or that time. You know, we didn't struggle with that, and so now we're at a spot where it's like we know freedoms. It's all every man for himself. Do you think that's what happened?
I kind of believe that, like our parents, like my parents were the parents that, you know, if you black, then we brothers and sisters,
right.
And you protect them. You protect their character. You don't let people talk about them. But there were other parents, like the people that lived across the street from us. It was 13 of us. It was like 4 of them, and so they just automatically assumed we were hillbilly. You know, they grew up in the country, got all the kids, so it started discord.
Right.
And so even when her mom made her invite me to her birthday party, and when I went over there, I was treated different. I was treated like, that's the poor kid. I didn't know we was poor. We was eating. We was we had clothes. We had clothes. I didn't know we were poor. But at that point in time, when they began to feed that stuff to me, so I started saying, we poor? We're always poor. So that's how they started getting us against each other, the poor or the lower class, you know, versus, you know, we got 6 bedrooms, y'all got 3, and y'all got 13 kids at your house. Not celebrating that both your parents are still in the house. You know, y'all do have a 3-bedroom, but y'all making it. So I think that's a big part of where the discord began. You know, parents against parents, and at first our neighborhood was predominantly white. Right. But when we moved in, you know, they moved out. Other black people moved in, and so some of the black people the other black people, they felt like they were upper class. Right. And why did y'all let them move in here? Like, why did they let us move in here? Because my mom had 13 kids, and yes, we were bad. We were bad. We were kids. But still in that day, you know, everybody could whoop everybody's kids. But still we had a few people that thought they were better than us that actually said, don't y'all hang around here. You know, we were normal bad kids. It wasn't, you know, we weren't killing nobody and all that. But yeah, they wouldn't let them play with us because they were a better class of black people than us. So I think that's where it all started. And I think it really, I think it's legal for me to say this. I think it really started from the white generation. When they brought us over here, they put a mindset in us.
That's true.
They put a mindset in us, and it all stemmed from they can't be together. They can't be a village.
Because we were a threat.
We were a threat, and if we started building that temple, we were going to make it to heaven all together as one. And they could not allow that to happen.
And you know what? It reminds me of the scripture, a house divided against itself can't stand. And so when you think about, you know, the times of segregation or the times where, you know, we were coming together and we were being empowered, and it was like, that's a threat to us. We can't let them have power.
Exactly.
And so if we can't stop them from gaining power, then we got to turn them on each other.
Exactly.
And I think that has just passed down
Yes,
through
it has.
generations, you know, and now it's down to the women. You know, where we look at each other as a threat instead of as, that's my sister, that's my help, that's my leaning post, that's my encouragement, that's who I know I can stand on. And it's like, you know, of course I'm not saying all women are like this, because we're not like that. You know, we encourage each other if something is going on, we push each other, you know, and things like that. We motivate each other, we make each other feel beautiful, you know. We all have our bouts with self-esteem issues, confidence issues at some point, you know, where we just like, okay, well, I feel like I gained a little weight, or I feel like I'm not where I need to be, or I feel like, and it's like, we don't just leave it there. We're like, okay, well, what's your goals? Then, you know, what do you need help with to get there? And it's like, everybody don't have that mindset. So what do you think is our individual responsibility to ensure that that mindset is reverted, where we can change the narrative culturally, you know, in regards to us being a threat to each other, where we can look at it like we're stronger when we're together?
There's something my son always says. Loyalty is not the only thing. Loyalty is everything.
Yeah.
And I think once we begin to be loyal to each other,
Yeah.
you know, just because my attitude may not be where yours is, or like you said, today I'm feeling bad about who I am, or I can't climb the ladder, come help me get up the ladder.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think if we begin to be loyal to each other, because this is my sister, like this is my actual birth sister.
Yeah.
Because we really are. We all came from the same.
Right.
So this is my sister. So if I'm going up, let me help you come up.
Yeah.
You know, or if I have to go up first, then I'll pull you up.
Right.
And I think just if we begin to do that, and then we pay it forward, and then they pay it forward, and then, just like the woman at the well, you know, when Jesus told her about herself, she was, hey, come see a man,
Right.
and she paid it forward. So I think as Black women, if we begin to say, even like you said, that woman that's on the corner, I make sure if she's Black, I'm gonna find some change. Are you okay? If I have to give her my umbrella, if I have to give her my coat, I'm gonna give it to her. That's my sister, and I don't want to see her cold.
Yeah. Simone?
Yeah. You know, this subject brings out the Clarence Brownings.
Oh my gosh.
You know how I am about this subject. I just feel like exactly what she's saying. We have to do better as Black women as far as like really lifting us up. I think as Black women, as a Black community, we are hurt, we are broken, we have been through traumatic experiences.
Yes.
And when you've gone through traumatic things, sometimes you have to separate yourself, sit down, get to know each other, and heal each other. And I don't think we as women, as a community, have done that. We try so hard to be as this other community. And I think that's what broke us down, because we wanted to be like their family. We wanted to look like them. So we thought making it was being like them. So in the process of it, we stopped caring about each other, and we stopped, you know, trying to help each other. We started looking at, like you said, this family, because I'm 13, you got 13 kids, and you stay in this small house. Like, we started turning against each other. And it was just brought down to that next generation, to where we are so lost now.
Yeah.
Like, we so lost. And that was one thing with everything that's going on. You know, and folks was asking me about it. These protesters, they're great. Hey. But if we really gonna go in and really do some change and really start standing up for ourselves, the way they've done our community, they will break us down. I feel like we ain't ready for it. We need to go heal, take a step back, heal and say, yes, this was done to us. This is what we've been doing to each other. How do we fix it? How do we move forward? Hey, let me do better at helping you. Let me get to know you. you know, learn each other's experiences and really move forward in that healthy way, the way things used to be. Like, we gotta stop trying to be like everybody else. Sit down and learn our own history. Learn where we came from. Learn the reason why they attack black women so much, because we pretty much, we are the creator of things. We are not created like God. But you know what I mean? Yes. Like, it's fair. I feel like for somebody to break me down so much, to talk about me, talk about it, I look, make me, you know, you always have something negative to say about us. Like you said, we are the most women that they talk so bad about. It's a negative thing. Our hair is bad. Our butt's too big. Our chest too big. We got big old lips. Our nose too big. Our skin too dark. It's something.
Right.
For somebody to break you down like that, it's a fear.
It's a fear.
And you know what? I think about, you know, in the military, excuse me, it's all about no man left behind. And so when we're getting taught to climb this tower, and you have somebody that gets up there first, and they help bring the next person up, and they help bring the next person up, you know, and you're lifting them up by the feet, and they're standing on your shoulders, and everybody is using their strength to push the next person up. And then once everybody else is up, you know, the last one, he starts back, and then he runs, and he gets a head start and jumps on the wall, and you know, and they lift him up. And it's like, if we would all have that mentality of you leave no one behind. And I'm not talking about dragging people, because I understand that there are some instances where people just don't want to grow. They're stuck in their mentality. They're stuck in their habitual, you know, terrible behavior, negative, you know, thinking, negative responses to anything. Not that kind, but I'm talking about the ones that are trying. And it's like, what's the old saying? Each one reach one, each one teach one, or something like that. And it's like, if we each teach one, you can reach one. You know, if everybody, go up there, you say, if everybody bring a piece of thread, Johnny can have a coat. Period. You know, if I teach you how to fish, you'll never be hungry. And so it's like, you know, we're not looking. I think sometimes, it's taken, you know, as we want a handout. Or, you know, sis, you just help me out, I'm just going to use you, and, you know, I'm going to get to where I need to go, and then that's going to be it. But it's just like, if we really did have the mentality to say, I'm not leaving my sister behind. If I'm growing, I'm going to help you grow. It's about reaching back, you know, once you get to a certain level, because there's always a generation behind you, and you're setting the blueprint. You know, it goes back to a long time ago when I was like, God, you're showing me to do all these things, but I don't have a blueprint. I don't have anyone I can look to. And he said, Zanya, I'm making you the blueprint. And so it's like, I understand that with walking in my purpose, you know I have a ministry for women. And so there are a lot of women who are looking, and they're saying, okay, I'm going to follow her blueprint, because I see how she did it. And it's not that I'm a person that hogs information. Y'all know that. Right. Now, that's happened to me, where I've gone to people, I mean, not just in the acting world, not just in the corporate world, even in ministry, where I've admired other women. And y'all know I've experienced it firsthand, where I've admired, you know, people, other women in ministry, supported them and things like that. And jealousy jumps up, envy jumps up. It's like they build this wall, and I'm like, yo, what is this about? You know, I'm not trying to take over your pulpit. I'm not trying to take over your speaking engagements or I'm mad supporting you. You get what I'm saying? And people, it's like they were okay with me supporting them, but they don't want to support you.
It's the mentality that has been instilled in us. Exactly. For generations.
Right.
And it's like, you know somebody and all they did was drink. And they know, hey, I got an alcohol problem. Don't mean they gonna stop.
Right.
You got people, it takes them decades to get normal. And that's our deal. Like, we've had so much stuff to turn down our community, turn down who we are. Even the little stuff that we think is supposed to be helpful. Like, my deal is, I feel like with, what is that? Section 8 and stuff like that. I think that's another way of how it broke us down. Because before that, If you needed help, I needed help. You leaned on your neighbors. You know, you leaned on each other. But to break us down so we didn't have to lean on each other, take that man out the house.
Right, so you can be
reliant
reliant.
Rely on me. I'm gonna give you this money every month, and you ain't gotta worry about your homegirl over here because I'm gonna take care of you. And we got into that mentality of
Right.
I ain't gotta worry about y'all because I'm gonna get this. You know, it's the little stuff that they did to us.
Yeah. Was you about to say something? Go ahead.
I think really and truly the start of it is we have to change the narrative.
Yes.
Because the narrative that's been put out here, I mean, even when you looking at social media, is the black woman is loud. She has an attitude problem. She can twerk her booty real good. She can dance. She can do this. And the successful one, and it shows you get attention when you over sexualize. You know something, because black women have been viewed as sexual objects. So it's still trying to hold it there. Even when you go to social media today, it's even, you know, still taking the picture with the looking down, you know. You know, that's the whole thing where it's like, it's still, you know, embedded that in order for you to get attention, in order for you to be successful, in order for you to rank up or do anything, it's not your mind, because it's not your education, it's your sexualness, it's your body. And that's for women in general too, but as black women, it's the same thing. And then you're made, when you're even looking some TV shows, it's rare you see a black woman in a relationship, in a marriage. She's normally a single parent. You know, we go through, so it's the narrative we have to begin to change, and it does start with us. So it's even the same thing when you're looking at generational. Right now, what's hot is TikTok, you know, and other things, but the generational things that are being passed is not like, oh, it's me reading this book, oh, I got my degree, oh, I'm in this. No, it's how well can I do my dance, you know, and that's it. And it's being where that is when you've made it. When you can buy your Birkin bag, that's when you made it, not when you graduated and you have your doctorate. Not, you know, those type of things that are there and saying, let's be successful. Or when we do see it, and you might say it's how we treat each other. You know, I might see it like, hey, I heard you were trying to do this. You know, we have these programs that's over here. Call me if you want to think about it. This is my car. This is how I got there. Versus us being like, she thinks she gonna go into that program. She too good, she too this, she too that. We're already breaking and judging ourselves because we're playing into what society has told us to judge each other on, and what we've been taught to believe who we are.
So do you believe that the era of the independent woman played a big factor in, you know, us building an internal competition with each other? Because, you know, now it's all about your hustle. It's about your grind. It's about your come up, getting your queen, and you know, being self-sufficient. I mean, because of course, you know, not just in our culture, but the dynamics of, you know, the role reversals. You know, most women are, you know, head of households now. You know, they make their own money. They it's like, I don't need a man for nothing. You know, that whole mentality. And it's like, you know, you become this boss. You're a boss chick now. And so it's like, okay, is it inundated now, since we are on this independent streak, that I have to be the boss chick above everybody else? Do y'all believe that?
I think some of that is.
Yeah.
I think some of it is where it's like, okay, now, and it goes back to the main thing, to where the role reverse is coming in, where as well as you're now emasculating the man.
Yeah.
And I think that's a part of it too, to cause division in between the group as well, because now, as in what you've seen before, now who was, say, in the house, was the head of the house, was the man. Now the woman is now the head of the house. And it's well, I'm running this, I'm needing this, and then now the mentality of the mind is, I don't need you anymore. Because I can do this all myself. Or really and truly, that was never how the system was meant to be. For you alone. But if I empower you by saying, oh, you bad, you bigger, girl, you don't need nobody, you by yourself. And I realize I'm telling you that because I know if you link up with the right woman, you are powerful. Both of y'all are powerful together. So if I can break that down before you even have the possibility to do it by using reverse psychology to make you think you're running it, when you're not running a thing.
Come on in. Tell it. I'm sorry.
And that, like I said, it was time. You know, that's what they did. You know, the slave owners did to, you know, the women and men. They would take the men, they would beat them in front of the women.
Right.
They would, you know,
Emasculate them.
rape them in front of the women. Everything, because they wanted to show them this man can't help you. You lean on me, or you lean on yourself. You do what you have to do and be strong as a black woman to protect your kids.
Yeah.
And so, and that's how it has gone, you know, throughout centuries of, I can't, you know, depend on you because you're not here, you're not doing nothing, so I gotta do this myself. You know, we taught as, even us growing up, like she said, we were taught, you get out here and you go do it. You get out here and you go make it. As I told y'all in some of my previous relationships, guys would go out cheat. And I asked him, why you cheating on me? And one of the guys told me, I don't feel like I bring nothing to you. You figured out what you want, you have your life figured out, you going this way. But if, you know, I would tell you, hey, let's do this. I'm doing this, I'm going here, I got this going, I'm here, I'm making my money, I don't need your help. You know, it's that mentality that was inbred in us.
That you don't need, not just don't need a man, you don't need nobody.
Yeah.
Right.
And like she said, once you like that, you know, you feel like, well, I'm good, I got it. No. Look how much you could grow if you was actually with somebody. And actually, it's messed up.
Yeah.
And it's the legacy that's left.
Yes.
When you go, because it's not, at the end of the day, it's not about you. It's not just your company, and especially when you're working for a corporation, it don't have nothing to do with you.
No.
Because when you burn, they're gonna replace you.
Yes.
So at the end of
will
replace you. So the thing is, even for myself, I'm questioning what legacy am I about to leave? And it's not just about your bloodline, it's about the community as a whole.
Right.
So what impact are you having? That's even the same thing with the protest, with the voting. People may say, oh, well, if I go out on Tuesday and vote, I did enough. Well, the question is, what are you going to do later on in the community?
Yes.
How are you helping your community? How many meetings have you been to say we want these roads in our neighborhood?
Right.
We don't want these liquor stores over here. And it's not just showing up one time. You have to be consistent and you have to continue to do that. And it is being supportive of each other because it is a hard road to travel. It's tiring. It wears you down. Other people judge you. You judge yourself. Because you're basing it off of what's been told and what you've heard. So now you're not only fighting what I've been told is the norm, what I've been told is correct. Now I'm fighting that too. And it's hard when I'm fighting somebody who look just like me. And you telling me I'm wrong, you telling me I'm this, you taking my man, you know, all this other stuff. And it's just like, why do you even have to do all of that? It's like, I wanted you to be great. But because you're still left behind in that mentality, we can't progress and move forward.
And you know what? We always talk about the strength of a black woman, right? And it's like, you know, yes, we are strong, but it's not like we did it by choice.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's like, you know, when you have the strength that you have and you didn't do it by choice, it was like it's what you had to do, then it begins to become bitterness, resentment begins to set in, and so what you have is strife. It's not just an external battle, it's an internal battle because of traumatic experiences. Traumatic in your personal life, traumatic in your community, traumatic in your culture. It's like everywhere around there's pain, and that's how we are united as black people. We unite through our pain, you know? And it's like when you are established that way, you know, it changes the way that you view things. You know, everything that you see it through a filter of pain. Everything that you see it through a filter of resentment. Everything that you see it through a filter of whatever other negative emotion is connected to that. And so when you think about empowering the next person, you can't empower if everything you see has a negative connection with it. Right? And so since we know that there has been trauma, since we know there has been pain, since we know there is a huge disconnect and divide, how do we begin to heal so that we can uplift each other like we know we need to?
I think it starts with you. Once you're healed, if you're bleeding, how can you go over and heal somebody else?
Yeah.
So I think it starts individually. Heal yourself. If you know that you're bitter behind this relationship or you're upset about whatever's going on in your life, get yourself healed. I can't heal you if I'm bleeding.
Yeah.
Right.
So once I'm healed, I heal you, you heal her, she heals you, then it starts a pattern. And then we all look up and we're all healed, and there doesn't have to be any jealousy or envy, or it doesn't have to be she's darker, she's lighter, she's fat, she's skinny. It doesn't have to be that, because we are a group, we have become a culture that we are sticking with each other. What I loved about the movie Help, even though that was it was kind of
Stereotypical.
yeah, but they stuck together.
Yes.
If one family was hungry, this family fed them. If they heard something what the white people were saying about it, they told the other. We warned each other about things that were going on.
Yeah,
they band together, and I think we got to go back to that.
Yes.
So true. I mean, even when you think about boycotting, back then everyone was on one accord.
Yes.
And even to go biblically, when you think about them building the Tower of Babylon, the Bible says they looked down and said, well, would you look at there? For this is, this is paraphrasing. Like, would you look at there? They on one accord. They are united, and what they're trying to do is they believe in their goal, and they ain't gonna stop till it happens. And so he had to confuse the language just to stop them.
Yeah.
And so that shows you how empowered we are, how strong we are, how much more we can get done when we are on one accord. On one accord. And so when we think about that, we don't see that because it's not reality to so many people. When all you see is division, all you know is division, and you're taught that is now your mentality, is what you're passing on to your own kids. Ain't nobody gonna look after you like you. And it's like, that's not true. But it has become true because that's what's been passed on, and that's the example that we're seeing. That's what's been emulated in our communities, and so we're taking on that mentality. And so when it comes to empowering, it's like, or uplifting, or anything of that nature in a positive way when it comes to each other as women, we can't do that because we're not on one accord.
Exactly.
And you know what? In thinking that, because I actually had this happen to me. Because where I was, it was basically I was the only one, and I had another one to come in. So I'm trying to tell her where she is.
Right.
Hey, this is what you got to do. I need you to watch out for this. This is where you're going.
Looking out for her.
Yeah. Turn on me. And she said, you treat me differently. You're pulling me out, and you're doing this to me, and I don't understand it. At that point, I just told her, because she was ready to resign. I said, do you have any days you have? She said, yeah. I said, go ahead and use your days. You don't have to come back. So she took a few days off, and when she came back, she said, I kind of thought about it. She said, I thought you were being mean to me. I said, no, I wasn't being mean to you. I said, I want you to take a look at where you are. Right. I said, what you didn't know is that they were coming in here and telling me stuff about you. I said that I knew was not true. I said, what I was trying to do was tell you, this is what you're doing. This is what you need to do, because at the end of the day, it's a job, and I still got to treat you just like I treat everybody else. But if I know people are intentionally trying to sabotage you, and I'm trying to tell you this is the environment that you're in, sometimes women will see it as, oh, she just trying to hate on me. She just trying to be mean. You're treating me differently. You don't treat them like that. Well, the fact of the matter is you're in a different environment. Right. You are seen as different. You're under a different set of rules. And you have to be willing to listen. And you have to be willing to take that on. And you have to be willing to say, they must know something because they made it. And you don't know everything. Exactly. And I think when you're able to humble yourself and you're able to drop your pride and your arrogance and to say, they've already made it, so maybe I can learn something from them. Then I think we can start working together as a community. Then we can start seeing what each other has, but there's a sense of arrogance, it's a sense of pride, because I'm still there, I don't need you. And it's even the thought of where you have been told nobody's gonna look out for you.
Yeah.
So you question, well, what they looking out for me for? What's their motives?
Well, they
Everything
never
else.
have looked out for you.
Right.
So your guards are up on everybody else. You know.
But I think another big issue is you can't give what you've never had.
Right.
Exactly.
And so you can't uplift somebody if you've never been uplifted. You don't even know what that look like. You can't empower somebody if you've never been empowered. You don't know what that looks like.
No.
You can't motivate somebody if you've never been motivated. You don't know what that looks like. And so sometimes it's not happening because you haven't had a first-hand experience with that.
How to do it.
And so I think a lot of times, you know, some women or we as Black women get a bad rep for not supporting each other. Especially, you know, I hate that a lot of shows, reality shows on TV, just perpetuate the stereotype. And it's like we are teaching our young Black girls to aspire to be that. Oh, you mean Cardi B started out as a stripper and now she a famous rapper and she got married, she got a kid, she rich. You know, it's okay to go do that. Oh, you mean to tell me this is how such and such started out? I can go do that. I can go be on Flavor Flav, and then I can just, you know, do this, and then I can be a household name.
But even the reality show.
Well, that's what I'm getting to. It's like you see these examples, and you're like, you know, you'll do anything for money. You'll do anything for attention. You'll do anything to feel like, okay, this is validating me. And so it's like you see them being petty, you see them being catty, you see them arguing and fighting because they're trying to hold their position on the show. Because the more drama you bring, the bigger paycheck, and I can re-sign my contract. And it's so sad because when you look at it, you know, we like to say, oh well, it's the white upper, you know, people, but it's like a lot of this stuff is created by Black folks. And we see, and it's no different from us selling ourselves into slavery. Because you're making money off of our pain. You're making money off of making a mockery of us. And it's like we're not seeing that ourselves, and we're looking at really buffoonery as success. That when you see somebody saying, okay, go to school, you know, do it the right way, or, you know, do this, not saying that you have to go to school and that's the only way you can become successful, but it's like that's shunned on. You don't have to go to college to do this, which is true, but it's like, why spit on somebody who wants to? You know, it's like, okay, some people really believe my ancestors fought for their education. I'm gonna get an education. I'm gonna empower my next sister to get an education. I'm going to empower her. Hey, you know what? Let's build our own. Let's do this on our own. We don't have to rely on this, that, and the third, and over here. We can make our own network. But it's like, you know, there's so much distrust. You get what I'm saying? That it's like, even when you get a great idea like that, like, let's all go into business with each other. It's like, You get what I'm saying? We don't trust each other.
No.
We don't trust each other. And so when it comes to a matter of, you know, go best friend, it's like, you know, motives can't even be trusted behind motivation. And what I mean by that is, if you're pushing me and you tell me to go, is that because you're trying to ride my coattail? You get what I'm saying? Is it because you know that once I come up, we come up? You know, and it's like, no, we have to heal from the inside out. And like Marilyn said earlier, it starts with us individually. But first, before you can heal, you have to see that there's a problem. And that's the problem within itself. We don't see that there's an issue. We don't see that, and you know, I remember I posted something on Facebook, and then I'm gonna go to you, Simone. I'm sorry. I remember I posted something on Facebook a couple years ago where I was like, you know, we're rioting every time a white man shoots a black guy, or a white cop shoots a black man. I said, but why? Where are the riots? And where is the, you know, the outrage and, you know, the upset when you see our brothers walking down the street sagging? When you hear our young girls calling each other the B word, you know, that's my B, I'm that B, da da da. I said, where is the outrage? Where is the marching? When are we gonna start respecting ourselves? And I got so much backlash, like, you know, that's you missing the point. This ain't about that. It's a time and place for everything. Da, da, da. And I'm like, all of it plays into it. All of it plays into it. And And it's like, you know, we have to start caring about ourselves. We really do have to go back to being our sister's keeper. You know, when you see young girls and they're talking their way and they're behaving their way, you know, risk, you know, them being upset with you. Because I remember it was a young lady that I saw her Facebook post and she was doing all that cussing and saying the B word and this, that, and third, and I got on her. Her mama got upset. You know, it was, and I thought it was so stupid. I was like, you're upset with me for telling her to take this down? It's like, at some point, you should be saying thank you. I didn't see that. You get what I mean? Which we got past that. I'm not trying to bring, you know, beat a dead, what is it, dog, horse? Oh, I don't like animals wrong. Beat the horse. Beat the dog. But it's like, you know, if we all cared enough, but like I said, it's distrust. And so when you try to have that mentality of each one reach one, each one teach one, you know, then the other person feels threatened. What do you think you can teach my child that I can't? And it's like, obviously you ain't doing it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, because there's so much distrust, you know, because we don't trust our village anymore. Like Marilyn said, it used to be where we could all whoop each other. Now it's like, don't touch my kid. My granny raised me and I knew everybody on the street could whoop me. And by the time I got home, I done got 17 whoopings. And then by the time I get in the house, you know, it's like, I'm gonna whoop you because Miss Johnson called me down the street and Miss Burns told me what you did earlier. And I'm like, oh my God. I mean, I got so many switch welts and you're gonna whoop me again? You know what I mean? But it was like everybody looked out for each other. And accountability. And it's like we've lost that somewhere.
Yes,
we've lost that. And it's like, you know, when we think about women, we're the glue that hold things together. And I know it's like, Zanya, we could talk about just us as a black culture altogether, but I'm like, women, we are the nurturers. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, we keep things together. And we've had to for so long. And I know it's like, okay, but that's hard. That's a heavy duty. You know, we're tired of doing it. We're stressed, you know, and because of that, all of these other negative traits have derived from that. And it's like, if we can just come to a common means, a common ground, a common understanding and say, hey, there is a problem. We all need to fix it. We are all a part of the problem. It's not like, oh, that's the ghetto girl. No, because when the world look at us, they ain't seen us as separate. They don't care if you're corporate. They don't care if you're the ghetto chick on the street. You just a black woman.
Yes.
Right or wrong.
That's it.
That's it.
Not
and
even
so,
mixed.
Exactly. And so it's like, when do we stop? We have to stop somewhere and stop dividing ourselves and stop separating ourselves and stop looking at ourselves as it's me and that's y'all. You see what I'm saying? And I get it. Like I said before, there are some people you just can't pull them because they stuck in that mentality. And if they want to be stuck, that's fine. Leave them there. But I wanted us to have this conversation because it's like we need so bad to push our friends, y'all, to push the women in our lives. You know, there are some young girls who are getting lost between the cracks. You know, who are falling through the cracks. They have so much potential. So when me and Bridget was talking about a young lady the other day who's a teenager now, and we've been watching her grow up all her life, had so much potential, extremely smart, you know, but bad parenting. Bad parenting. And it's like, you know, because there was a distrust there. You know, when you're trying to help and you're trying to assist and you're like, okay, let me help you with this. You know, maybe you shouldn't do that. Then it's like, you can't tell me how to raise my kid. And so now they've become a product of their environment. And instead of you know, just letting go of the insecurity, letting go of the intimidation, your child could be a lot better than where they are right now. And so it's like, I really wanted to talk about this because there is a huge need for it.
Yes, it is.
We have to come together. We have to push each other. We have to empower. We have to uplift. We got to stop being petty. We got to stop being catty. We got to stop competing. If you're going to compete against somebody, compete against yourself. Compete against, you know, we say it all the time, look in the mirror, that's your competition. But when you look to the side, you shouldn't see competition. It's like, okay, we're going to all get there. And I may get there first, but that don't mean you ain't gonna ever get there. I may help push you. Each one, reach one.
One thing I've started doing, so as I told Clarence Broadniks, when we were little, he Christian and Muslim. Them say. But one thing he used to make us listen to every morning was that Louis Farrakhan stuff. And I would be like, but as I got older, I actually kind of listened to it myself, and I was like, okay, I get where you're going with this. And one thing he said that stood out to me, and now I try and make sure I do, he was getting interviewed by some interview guy, and they were talking about some man, it was something, and the guy wanted him to speak badly of this guy. And he wouldn't do it.
Right.
And he was like, I will not speak badly against my black brother.
Right.
And the guy was like, so you're agreeing with him? You're agreeing with him? He was like, I'm not saying that I agree with what he said, but I will not speak bad. He wanted him, he was like, I will not condemn him.
Right.
He was like, that is my brother. I will not condemn him. Right. He said, now I will take him aside, privately and talk to him, but I would not. And it made the guy so mad.
Yeah.
And he was like, you're not gonna make me talk down, against my brother in front of y'all.
Right.
And just seeing that, it was like, man, that's what I need to do. And I can honestly say, we get around groups of people, oh, she this, she that. So I have made it a point to, regardless of how I feel about you, anybody, I will not talk about this woman, especially us. I will not speak against, my sister and so in front of, a crowd of people. And I've made it a point not to do that, but to, uplift them. Or, hey, I may not agree with it, but that's not for me to speak on right now.
Right.
Now, if I see them in, private, that's a conversation for me and them. But I'm not going to go in, and down, her, you, or this person, in front of people. So that's one thing I really tried to work on. And I may just I'm just so upset, but I've really tried to make it a point of, I am not going to disrespect my people just to appease somebody else.
Right.
And I think that's one thing that we really need to quit, start uplifting each other. Even if you don't agree, you don't have to go in and bash them.
No.
It was just like with that whole Nick Cannon situation. I don't know what all he said, but I felt like, when he apologized, or whatever, I saw so many people, they were telling me, you went back, you turned it back, what is it? They were pretty much bashing him for apologizing. And I felt like, well, where were y'all when he was being attacked?
Right.
Because I ain't see nobody posting, hey, don't attack him, that's my brother. Whatever he believed, that's his belief. Just like whatever you believe, that's your belief. Okay, that's what he believed. But, but when he went and apologized and it went against what the community thought, we ready to go bash him. We ready to go, oh, you tap dancing for the white, that type of stuff. Stop all that.
Right.
If I don't agree with you, I don't agree with you. Period. If I feel like we all know we got a battle to do, but we ain't got to knock each other down because you want to go left to get to the final destination. I want to go right. As long as we know we got to get to this front part, let's just do it and work with each other and do it.
And I think it's important too, where we start, you say like a starting point. Even in passing, it's not going to hurt you to say, I see you. You're looking really nice.
Start
today.
small.
Yeah. And that's just a start, because that woman may not have heard she looked nice since before she was born.
Yeah.
And she's never been told that, and she was so insecure when she walked out this house today. And then for a stranger to notice her, because you don't know, that may have been the last step that she wanted to take. It could be suicidal. And you just saying, I love the way your hair look, girl. Something be like, you are so beautiful. Your features are this or whatever else. Sometimes it's just a simple word. Because some people just want to hear, you look nice. Some people need that and have never had that. And that goes back to that, if you've never had it, I don't know how to get it. So she's never had that. She doesn't know how to say you look nice. So it takes someone who has that in them to grow that in somebody else who does not have that. And which is why we're all different. because we all have something to offer each other.
Right.
So my thing may be, I'm an extrovert. I can talk to you. I can say, girl, you look good. This, whatever else. Yours may be an introvert, and you so smart that when I sit down, you can say, hey, look, you should do this like this. This may take it a little bit shorter. Can I share this with you? You know, and it's the small things when we're feeding into each other. And you know, so you really do have to start in the mirror. Because am I downplaying you and being upset with you because that's an insecurity that's in me?
Exactly.
So now I want to push off what's wrong with me onto you.
Yeah.
And those could be things that have been stemmed back from when you were younger. So now you really need to take the time to uproot those things that are in you, and even at the same time growing spiritually, because that'll help you too. Because the Holy Spirit will help give you the correct words to say to the person when you're walking by, when you're seeing it. And it's a part of growth inside of yourself to where you can go back and start growing other people, healthily growing people, and not feeding into toxic and insecure and different type of things.
I think, you know, overall, you know, just closing us out is, you know, like Bridget said, let's just all start somewhere. You know, I understand that the problem is bigger than we can pinpoint, and it goes deeper than we can pinpoint, you know, and it's going to take years of peeling back the layers. It's not going to happen overnight. It may not happen in the next 10 years, 50 years. It's going to take time. It's going to take time. However, you know, if each person do their part,
Right.
the women that's in your life, are you uplifting? Are you empowering?
Right.
Are you encouraging? Are you motivating? Are you building? You know, if you said no to any of those questions, you get what I'm saying? Then it's like, start now.
Right.
Look in your circle and say, you know what? Is my circle really building me? You know, do they really push me? Are they okay with me being mediocre? Or do they say, you know what? That's not going to be tolerable. It's not going to be tolerable. And so we all have to start somewhere, but start right where you are. And maybe y'all are watching this and you and your girlfriends are looking at each other like, okay, do we help each other? Do we build each other? They ain't talking about just, you know, that's a cute dress. But it's like, okay, I heard you say, you know, you want to be an entrepreneur. Girl, what are your business plans? You know, what you want to do? When the last time you researched this? We're going to make sure, you know what, every week I'm going to check in with you. And they know, I'm going to hold you accountable. I'm telling you, don't tell me nothing. Because I'm be like, have you done this? Did you do that? Did you do this today? Oh, okay, well, that's what you said you was going to do. You get what I'm saying? And it's like we all have to do our part. We all have to do our part. We all have to do our part. It's not just enough of pinpointing the problem and saying and recognizing there is an issue if you're not going to do anything to fix it. I'm not telling you to go fix the world of black women. All I'm saying is reach the ones that's within your reach.
Exactly.
Start somewhere.
As Marilyn said, you gotta stop the bleeding within yourself. First. Before you think you're gonna go help somebody.
Right.
Because you can try and help them and then they say something and now you offended because they said something. Now y'all both offended. Now you back at square one. I gotta help you because now I'm better than you. You know, and they, you know, and they feel it because now you attacking them and you've defeated that person.
So even tonight, make it a goal. I don't care how small it is. I don't care if it's smiling at a stranger. I don't care if it's coming, even if it's out of your comfort zone. You know, make it a thing. Make it a point to empower. Make it a point to uplift. Make it a point to build. Make it a point to motivate. Make it a point to push. Don't just accept their mediocrity, because that may be a defense mechanism where it just keeps them stagnant. When all they need is somebody just to give them a little nudge.
Right.
Somebody to say, girl, you ain't doing enough. What you doing? You can't do that. Stop just accepting, girl. That just ain't me. Who told you that?
Right. Where you get that from?
Exactly. So don't just settle within the mentality. I am so glad that we had this conversation because it's so needed and it's so important, because we are shifting in the world. You know, women are in a whole lot better place than what it used to be. We are really powerful now. You know, we have leadership positions that we never thought we would have.
Right.
You know, a lot of us, you know, the black woman is now the most educated human being on the planet. That's not a guess. That's for real. That's statistically proven. You know what I'm saying? We are the most educated population on planet Earth, the black woman. And so it's like that says a lot.
Yes.
That should make you proud. That should make you say, you know what, I'm gonna add to the stats then.
Yes.
You know, we are entrepreneurs. We're not just mothers, we're not just wives, we're not just, you know, what else? Caretakers and all these other things, and all those things are important. We are so much more, and we all need each other. What's that song say? I need you to survive. Y'all know that song? Okay, amen. Praise the Lord. I thought I was just hitting a note for nothing.
But you need me.
Yes, we all need each other. So we love y'all, ladies. Thank you for tuning in for another Friday night of Girls Talk. Listen, y'all know every Friday we are right here talking about, sometimes we're laughing, sometimes we're crying, sometimes we're like, this is uncomfortable, you know. But every night, every Friday night, we come together and we leave either, you know, full of joy, or we leave with thought-provoking, you know, things that it's takeaways where it's gonna build us, where it's gonna motivate us, and it's talking points and conversational pieces for you ladies. And we can't wait to hear your testimonies. We can't wait to answer some questions. If you have questions, we are here and we are available. And I promise you, we are making it our goal to start with us.
Right.
We ain't just talking about it. This is something we practice. So we love you. Join us next Friday for another episode of Girl Talk, where we keep it real, we keep it raw, and we keep it classy. So y'all have a beautiful weekend, and we'll see you on Monday. Talk to you later.
The man in me. I've been down before, but now I'm UP. I've got the same body upgrade, mind, body, brains, and put that on everything. I'm moving forward, don't wanna look back. I got my life and I got it on track. Gotta keep it pushing, so let's bring it down.